whether this PPT is visible or not.
Yes, sir. PPT is visible.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Now see here, for any one-dimensional analysis, or any analysis, you have to remember this formula for linear static analysis. MHPCLL. MHPCLL. Okay. And you follow this sequence of MHPCLL. Okay. And how we can use this MHPCLL, that I will explain with the problem. Now it is a short form of these words. Okay. M means material collector. M means material collector. Now material collector means where we are going to define the material. Material means where we are going to define the material properties. Okay. Next is H. H is hyperbeam. Hyperbeam, already I have told you, when we are going to do the one-dimensional analysis, we have to give the cross-sectional area as a user input. Okay. That area, not necessary to calculate that area and give. Here we have to give the cross-sectional dimensions. Okay. And that we are giving through this H, that is hyperbeam. Okay. Hyperbeam will provide the cross-section to the rod element, bar element and beam element. Okay. Next is property collector. Property collector means here we are going to define the properties. Means we are combining material, hyperbeam, and we are assigning that properties to the component collector. Okay. How it will happen, that I will show you in hypermesh. Next one, you have to create the component. That means you create the elements, nodes, geometry. If geometry is available, geometry is required, then we have to create the geometry. But software or finite element method is doing the calculation on the elements and nodes. So that elements and nodes are stored in this collector. Okay, component collector. Next, load collector. All boundary conditions are stored in the load collector. Okay. Next, load step. Here we are giving the settings required for solver. Okay. Depending upon the type of problem, we have to select the load steps. Now how we can do this, I will show you. Now for that purpose, we will take this problem. Rod element subjected to tensile stress. Now see here this is the one tensile member. It is fixed at one end. That means it is one body, one dimensional geometry. It is fixed at one end. Its cross sectional area is 50 millimeter. Sorry, diameter. Cross section diameter is 50 millimeter. That is, its section is circular section and diameter is 50 millimeter. It is subject to how much it is, 1 lakh Newton. Okay, that is, there is a tensile load of 1 lakh Newton at this end. Okay, and this end is fixed, and these are the properties of the material. That is, E modulus of elasticity is 2.1 into 10⁵. Poisson's ratio 0.3. Okay, now analytical results are 50.95 and displacement, that is deformation, is 0.12. Now we will compare the software results with these results. Okay, now yes, have you got this? You write this HPC the analysis. You have to tell me MHPCLL. You have to remember. Okay, MHPCLL. And here, have you completed this? Here we are solving this problem. Okay, this problem. Now I will open the hypermesh. Now whether hypermesh window is visible or not?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Now you recall your formula. Formula is, first is M. M is for material property. Now here you can create by different options. You see here, better way you select this icon. It is material icon. Here it is symbol or icon is like a straight strain curve. Is it visible? My mouse pointer is visible or not? Mouse pointer.
Visible, sir.
Okay. Through this you can create the material, or you can go to material and say create, or this is second way. Okay, you can use this way, you can use this icon, or you can move your mouse pointer in this blank window, that is your component browser window or model browser window. Right click here and click on create option. Click on create or select the create option, and create option there is a material. Okay, do you agree with this? Now either you use this option, or you use this from main menu, or you can use from direct icon. Okay, do you agree with this? Out of these three options you can use any option. Okay, now I will select this one. Click on material. When we click on material, here this menu options are changed. Okay, here there is a create option and one is update option. Update option is for changing the material, and create option is for creating the material. Okay, update means we have, if you want to modify the material properties, then you have to go for update option, and if you want to create new material, you select this create option. Now first is material name. Now enter here name of the material. I will enter here steel. Okay, steel. Now you define the color. Now I will select the, you can select any color. Okay, you can select any color. I will select this color. Now you select the type of the material. Type of the, now what is type of material? Fluid, gasket, isotropic, orthotropic. Now out of this, depending upon your problem definition, you select the appropriate type of the material. Okay, our material is a steel material. It is not anisotropic, it is not fluid, it is not gasket, it is not orthotropic, or it is not hyperelastic. Okay, it is isotropic material. Or so you select the isotropic material. Or now after that there is option card image. There is option card image. Here for structural applications, your card image is mat1. For structural application, your card image should be mat1, and for thermal applications, card image is mat4, and this is for fluid applications. Okay, now you select the mat1 because our problem is structural problem, that is linear static analysis. So I am going to select this mat1. Okay, depending upon the selected card image, you can enter the properties. Now how we can enter the properties? If this as card image, that means you can enter the properties. For entering the properties, you just click on create edit option. Create edit. Okay, have you got up to here? Now after clicking on create edit option, you will get these symbols or these notations. First is E. E is a E is a modulus of elasticity. G is modulus of rigidity. Nu is a Poisson's ratio. Rho is density. A is thermal expansion coefficient, this is reference temperature, these are the ultimate stress, strain or strengths values. Okay, now here in our analysis we need only three properties, we need only two properties, and we will enter one more property, that is density. Okay, now here E, Poisson's ratio, and rho, we have to enter these properties. Okay, now E, here it is 2 into 10 raised to 5, and it is same to our problem definition. Okay, so when we just click on E, here when we just click on E, you will get this window or this tab below this E. Here you can enter your properties. By default there are properties of the steel in software. Okay, and our material is also steel. If you want to modify these properties, you just type the properties whatever you need. Okay, now after that click outside this. Okay, now G is not necessary to enter because it is going to calculate from E and nu. Okay, there is a relation between E, G and nu, so software can calculate itself the value of G, not necessary to enter the G value. Okay, next you enter nu, that is a Poisson's ratio. Now this is a 0.3 and it is same to our problem definition, 0.3. Next one, rho, density is also density of the steel. By default steel properties are always in your window. Okay, if you want to modify, if you want to add other material, you just go to this one, you can type anything. Okay, you see here you can type anything here. Or now have you got up to here? Kunal Patil?
sir.
Okay, after entering these properties, here these options are not required for our problem. What are these options? You can see in help also. Here mat 4, if it is a coupled field analysis, mat 4, mat 5, then you have to go for these options. Okay, or it is known as user comments. That means if you want to do the thermal stress analysis, you have to select the mat 4. That this is for example. Okay, now for this problem it is not required. When it is required, I will explain it. Now after properties, click on return button here, click on return. Okay, or we have entered the property. Now after completion of this all the task, you again click on return button. Now you will be in your main window, and here you can see this steel is added in your window with the color which we have assigned. You can change color from here. You just click on color. Here you will get the different colors. You can modify your color. Okay, now what is next? Our M step is over. Out of this formula, that is MHPCLL, our M step is over, that is material creation is over, material collector is over. Okay, this is known as a collector. This is known as collector. That means we are storing the materials in this collector. Okay, material properties in this collector. Okay, now after creation of the material, what is next step? Next step is hyper beam. Now through hyper beam we are going to define the cross section of the rod. For defining the cross section, you have to create the hyper beam. Okay, now for that purpose, you go to 1D page, below geometry, 1D page. Okay, now and select this 1D page. In 1D page you have hyper beam option. See here I cannot explain all the options from one page. See here, that depends upon the problem definition. That depends upon, or it will vary from problem to problem. So all these options I will explain, but not in single problem. It requires different problems. Different problems have different options. Okay, now we need to define the hyper beam. Go to 1D page. In 1D page, click on hyper beam. click on hyperbeam. Okay, now our section is circular section. Okay, you can see here your section is circular section. Whether PPT is visible or not?
Visible, sir.
Okay,
Visible, sir.
okay, this you see this cross section is circular cross section, and diameter is 50 meter. You have to define section in so is it visible hypermesh window?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now circular section is a standard section. Okay, it is a standard section. So this circular section you will get not in cell section, not in solid section, you will get in the standard section. Okay. Okay, now here you select the hyperbeam section library. Okay, hyperbeam section library, and default is hyperbeam section library. Okay, and below that there is a standard section types. Okay, there is standard section type. Now here it is a thin walled box, but our section is not thin walled box. So you click on this arrow, you see this, you click on this arrow. When we click on this arrow, you will get the list of standard sections. Now first is thin walled box, thin walled tube, next standard L section, standard rectangle section, so on. Okay, now out of this, depending upon problem definition, you select the appropriate section. Now our section is solid circular section, so select the solid circle. Okay, solid circle is selected. Now after that for defining the dimensions to the solid section, you click on create button. Now when we click on create button, it will open the hyperbeam window. Okay, hyperbeam window. Now is it visible cross section window?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There is one circle there is one circle having diameter having radius 10 millimeter. Now we have to modify the dimension as per our problem definition. Now in our problem definition, diameter of the rod is 50 millimeter. Okay, now so you change the radius is 25 millimeter. You go to this radius option, and enter here 25, and enter 25, and just click anywhere. Okay, you will get this radius 25, radius value 25. Is it visible 25 radius? Whether it is visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now on this side you will get the properties of this cross section. Means it is area. Now this is centroid position. Okay, it is at origin, centroid position. Now moment of inertia. Okay, I, y, I, z. Do you agree with this? Now all these properties you will get here, and that properties are properties of the cross section. Okay, now here also you can fit two window. Okay, if your section is cross section is big and it is in YZ plane, you can see here it is in YZ plane. Okay, you have to remember this is in YZ plane. Now after creating appropriate section for you, now don't you go to the model view of icon. Now when we go to the model view icon, again it will come back to the hypermesh window. Okay, so click on this model view or model view icon. Now are you in hypermesh window? Here Hyperverse student edition OptiStruct. Okay, is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now here in this specific entry, you will get this beam section. We have not given any name to this beam section, therefore default name it has taken auto. It is not required to define the name, and under this auto you will get the circular section. Okay, now this is added here. You can see here we have defined a material, then we have defined hyper beam. Okay, now after definition of the hyper beam section, you come back to main menu. For that you click on return button. Okay, now again I am in main menu page. Okay, now after that you go to the next step. Your M step is over, H step is over. Now you go to the next step. Next is P, that is a property. Now again the procedure which we have used for creation of the material, same procedure we can use for creating the property. Okay, do you agree with this? You can go to these properties. You can right click on the this blank window. Okay, or you have icon here. After material you have property icon. You can see here this icon. After material you have property. Okay. Enter this. Now I am going to solve the rod problem with circular cross section. I will use circular rod. Okay, circular rod as a property name. Okay, here also there is a create, update and assign. Okay, if you have already created model, you can assign the properties through this assign tab. Okay, and you can update same to the material properties. You can update the properties also. Okay, now here I am going to give the properties name. After that I am going to define the color for properties. You have to remember you use different colors for different entities. That means if you have used this green color for material, you use different color for properties, because there should be separation between different entities. Okay, now I will use this color. Okay, after defining the color, go to the type. Now here you select the type, whether it is one dimensional, two dimensional or three dimensional. So you see this, whether it is one dimensional, two dimensional and three dimensional. Okay, whether it is rigids, acoustic properties, contact, joint, springs. Okay, now our problem is one dimensional problem, so we have to select the 1D type. Okay, after that you select the card image. Now click on card image. Now see here we are going to solve the tensile or problem under tensile loading. Okay, the element which is supporting to the tensile load is rod element. Do you agree with this? Rod element. So you select the P rod as a card image. Okay, P rod as a card image for this one. Okay, if it is a bar element, you select P bar. If it is a beam element, you select the beam P beam. If it is a weld element, it is you select the weld P weld. Okay, our problem is of rod element, so select the rod. Okay, now see here, for selection of the material, you should have material, available material in your analysis or in your project file. Okay, so already we have created the material. Now we have to select the same material. If you have different or number of materials, you can select number of materials by defining the number of properties. Okay, here if you have number of materials for single model, then you have to define the number of properties. Okay, and for each property you have to select the appropriate material. Okay, now you select the material, the steel already we have created here, that you select. Okay, after that you select the beam section. It is also we have created, and from the list of that beam sections you select the appropriate section. Okay, here we can select the multiple sections for same problem, that we will discuss later. Okay, now I will select the one section. Now I will go to the beam section, select the circular section. Okay, select the circular section. Okay, now to check whether appropriate properties are assigned or not, okay, you click on create edit button. Now you can see here area is, this is ID number, here property ID, material ID, property ID is 1, material ID is 1, and area is 1963.49, okay, and this is your J, that is modulus of sorry, it is moment of inertia, okay. Now after that, after selecting or after checking these properties, you click on here, not necessary to do anything, you keep this properties as it is, just you have to check whether appropriate area is assigned or not, or whether appropriate beam section is assigned or not, that you have to check here. And after that, after checking, click on return button, again click on return button. Now when we do this, you will get here one property of circular rod is added in your analysis, okay. Have you got up to here? Any doubt? If you are doubt, you can ask me. If you want a repetition in any step, you can tell me, I will repeat it. Dheeraj Chavan, have you got it? Indrajit Moite?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. Kunal Patil.
Yes, sir.
Now, are you with these steps? That means, is there any lag between my talking and the options which I have shown?
No, sir. I have changed the device, sir.
Okay. Now after creating the property, your MHP step is over. Next, you go to the component. You go to the component. Now here you can define the, you can use this icon, that is before the material icon there is a component icon. Before material icon there is a component icon, okay. Click on this, okay. Now you enter the name of the component. Again I will enter here rod circular. Now you define the different color. Now here I will define this color, okay. Now see here for this component there will not be card image, so if there is a card image, you select the card image, and I will tell you when we have to when we require the card image, okay, for which type of components we need the card image. But it will be in the problem same to, or the problem which requires the card image for component, okay. Now it requires the properties, the properties which we have created, that we have to assign to this component, okay. Now component means what? Component is going to store the finite element model, okay. It is going to store the nodes and elements, okay. Do you agree with this? See here, when it is going to store the nodes and elements, we have to assign the properties to that nodes and elements, okay. For assigning that properties, you just click on this equal to sign, okay, and select the properties which we have created. Select this. Now when we select this one, then you will get here p rod, next material and card image, okay. For the material, this is the card image for properties, next material which we have created, and card image for material, okay. And if this component has no card image, then not necessary to click on create edit button, you can click on just create button, okay. just create button. Now when we click on create button, here one component is added of this name. Okay, when this component is added, then you can return from here, click the return button. Now this component is added. Now see here, everything is not bold, only this component is bold. Why this component is bold? Means this bold means it is active component. Whatever things we are doing on this graphical user interface or graphical window, that will be stored in this component collector. Okay, and here also you will get the rod circular name of this component. Why? It is a current component. That means it is active component. Okay, now if you have multiple components, first you have to make the appropriate component active, then you develop the model. Okay, now I have only one component. Okay, I have only one creating the component, your model for your analysis. Okay, now you have to create the rod. Now for creating the rod, or rod element, its a shape is line. It is not actual circular rod. Okay, do you agree with this? We are assigning that properties, or we have assigned that properties to the rod element, but element shape is circular line element. Okay, now first we have to create the nodes. Okay, now see here, according to theory of the finite element analysis, if you have this problem, okay, now you recall the theory of finite element methods, and you tell me how many elements are required for this. How many elements are required for this? Whether this PPT is visible. Here you see here, a load is at the end of the rod. Okay, at the end of the rod, and a cross section is constant from this to this one. Material properties are also not changing. So you can model this problem by using only one element. Okay, you can model this problem by using only one element. Now how you can do this, I will show you. Whether this hypermesh window is visible or not. Preeti Digare.
Visible, sir.
Preeti Digare. Okay, now first I am going to create the nodes. Okay, now depending upon the length of the problem, I have to create the nodes. Okay, now I will click on the nodes. Now I will enter the coordinates of the first node. I am going to see here, and it is general practice, we have to consider the first node at origin, then it will become suitable to give the coordinates for the remaining nodes. So I will create the first node at origin. These are the coordinates, okay, of the element, that is x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is 0, and z coordinate is 0. And here system, here there is a system 0 means it is a global coordinate system. Okay, it is global coordinate system. Or now I will create the first node. For creating the first node, I will click on create button. Okay, now it is created. You just press F key, you will get node at the center of your graphical window. Okay, now second node you have to create at the end point of that problem, and it is at 500 millimeter length. Okay, so I will create the second node in x direction at 500 millimeter. Okay, again click on create button. Okay, now here you have to click on create button once. Okay, and after that, to see this node, you click on F button. Now you will get these two nodes. Okay, we have created two nodes. Now after creating the nodes, we have to create the element between these two nodes. for creating the element between these two nodes, go back to the main window. Okay, now element, that is rod element, you will get on the 1D page. So select 1D page, click on rods. Now before going to selecting the nodes, here this is the first node and this is the second node. Before going to selecting these nodes, you select the properties to the rod element. Go to properties, select the circular rod. Next, you select the element type also. Your element type is rod element. So click on element type. Next, select the C rod. Okay, because our element is rod element. Select the is it visible? C rod, whether it is visible or not. Kunal Patil, is it visible? Kunal Patil.
No, sir. For me, no, sir.
It is okay. I will change the color. Now it is.
Sir, I can see only two. Sir, now it is visible. Red.
Red, and here I will zoom it. Okay, I will return and zoom it.
Rod.
You can see here. Is it visible? There is a C rod. Okay. Now this is line shape. Now if you want to check this in 3D mode, you have here a line icon, and near to that line icon there is a one arrow. Okay, one arrow. Okay, now click on this. Here this is 1D traditional element, 1D detailed element. Okay, 1D traditional and element representation. You can select 1D detail element. Okay, now you can see here, I will rotate it. You see here there are two circles at these locations. Okay, now it is in wireframe mode. If you want to check in solid mode, you click on this icon. You see here, this is your 1D element. Actually it is a line element, but we have seen it in 3D shape. Okay, do you agree with this? Now see here, this color, it is of the component color. Okay, this color is of the component color. Okay, now because here visibility is by component. If I change it by properties, by prop, okay, then it will take the color of the properties. You see this. If we see this by material, then it will visible in color of the material. Okay, do you agree with this? See here, if it is changing with properties, with material and with component, that means everything is assigned to this component. That means properties are assigned, material is assigned to this component. Okay, or now I will make it again in line mode, or have you got this one? Now I will make it again in component mode. It is red. Any doubt here? If you have doubt, you can ask me. Any doubt? Indrajit Moite, if you have doubt, you can ask me.
सर ते चेंज कसं केलं सर?
Color, हे see here.
हा.
Here
सर 3D मधून सर ते लाईन कशी आली सर ते?
3D, if you select the detailed element representation, you will be in the 3D mode. Am I right? परत त्याच arrow वरती click करायचं. Again you press on the same arrow and you select the first option. Okay?
ओके सर.
Okay, and by component, by properties, you or next. Now your component process is over. You have created, this is a finite element model, that is a rod element, and it is linear rod element because it has n nodes only. It has end nodes only. There is no any node in between these two. Okay. After that, after that you go for the load collector. You go for the load collector, that is MHPCL load collector, and there should be two load collectors, or there should be two load collectors. One is for constraint and one is for force. Okay, one is for constraint and one is for force. Now how we can define this, I will show you. See here after this properties icon, there is a load collector option, load collector. Okay, click on this, and you enter the name for that. Now for constraint, where or we will give this SPC name. SPC means it is a single point constraint, because we are constraining only one point, so it is single point constraint. It is the name from industry. Okay, now I will change the color for it. I will make it blue. Okay, now it should not have card image. Okay, so click on this, select, create it. Okay, you can see here load collector is added here with one SPC. Okay, with one SPC. Now you can create the constraint here, or you can create first second load collector and then you go to the force and constraint. Okay, now see here it is a bold, means now active is SPC. SPC is active. You can see here SPC is current load collector. Okay, I will create one more load collector. It is for force. Okay, again I will repeat the same procedure. Click on this. Now I will enter here force. Okay, now I will use other color. This red color I will use. Okay, I will change the color. I will use yellow color. Okay, now it should or it has no card image. I will just create one more load collector is added here, that is a force. First is SPC and second is force. Now what you have to do, now you have to apply the constraints and forces. Now see here, while applying the constraints, this SPC should be active. Now how we can make it active? First I want to apply the constraint. How we can make it active? See here, either you right click on this and click on make current. Okay, or you click on this and select the SPC. Okay, you see here there are two ways. One is right click on this and click on make current, or just click here on force. Click on force here at right bottom corner. Okay, that is set current load collector. Okay, I want to set the current load collector as a SPC. Okay, now my force load collector is active. I want to make SPC active. For making SPC active, right click on this and click on make current. Now you see here SPC becomes bold and this becomes unbold. Okay, now I want to apply the constraint. Now for applying the constraint, you go to the analysis page. In analysis page, you have constraint option. Okay, click on constraint option. Now select the node which you are going to constrain. Select the node which you are going to fix. Okay, now select this node. I am going to fix this node. That means I am going to apply the fix the boundary condition on that node. How many degrees of freedom you are going to constrain? Now here I am going to constrain all degrees of freedom, because it is a fixed support. That is DOF1, DOF2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 is translation in X direction, translation in Y direction. This is translation in Z direction. This rotation about XY plane, YZ plane, and Z explain. Okay, that means 1, 2, 3 are the translational degrees of freedom, and 4, 5, 6 are rotational degrees of freedom, and all these degrees of freedom are constrained for my problem. So I am going to select this all these degrees of freedom, and I am putting these zero values. Okay, zero values, because there is no translation and rotation of this node. Okay, now I am going to fix this. After selecting the nodes, after selecting all these options, you just click on create button. Okay, now you see here you will get the small triangle. Now if you want to change the size, if I want to change this size, okay, or now is it visible, this small triangle, this triangle?
Yes, sir.
Now above this triangle you are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have you got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers? Kunal Patil, is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 means these are the 6 degrees of freedom. Okay, 6 degrees of freedom. Okay, that means first degree, second degree, third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, and sixth degree. All degrees of freedom are constant. Okay, or now return from here. Now we have applied a fixed boundary condition at this location. Next we have to apply the force at this node. Now see here, when we want to apply the force at this node, your force load corrector should be active. Otherwise what will happen, force is also going to stored in this constant load collector. Okay, so before going to apply the force, you should make this force collector active. Okay, now again you repeat the same procedure, right click on force. Okay, becomes to the force. Okay, now that means force load collector is active. Next one, apply the force at this location, at this one. Now for application of the force, again in analysis page, select the forces. Now select the node here. Okay, now you see this global coordinate system, your force is in x direction, am I right? Force is in x direction. Now magnitude of the force you have to enter here, and direction, for direction here there is n1, n2, n3. To change this n1, n2, n3 to the x direction, click on this arrow and select the x-axis. That means you can apply the force in x direction. Now enter here force, how much it is? It is 1 lakh. It is 1 lakh, and it is in positive x direction. Okay, it is in positive x direction. Now click on create. Now you see this, you see this arrow, is it visible, this arrow, whether it is visible or not? Indrajit?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Now and on this arrow you will get the force, and its magnitude is 1 into 10 raised to 5. Okay, and it is as per our problem definition. Okay, now return from here after application of the force. Now your first L is over. Now you go to the second L. That means in this you have to do the solver settings. Okay, for second L, what is meaning of this? It is a load step. It is load steps. Again in analysis page, here you have load steps option. Click on this load steps option. Okay, now enter here name of the load step. It is static analysis, static. Okay, now you select the type of analysis. Our type is here, there are different types. Our type is linear static. linear static. So you select this linear static. Okay, static, you constraint. Now select this SPC, click on this equal to sign, and you will get here a list of load collectors. There are two load collectors, one is SPC and one is force. Okay, now SPC is SPC, okay, and load is force. Okay, are you getting this? See here we have selected SPC for our problem and load for our problem, and you see this SPC here number is 1, force is here number 2, and these numbers should match with these numbers. Okay, do you agree with this? After that, click on create button. Click on create button. Now here you will get one load step, static load step. Okay, now your input for the problem is over. Now you need to solve this problem. Now before going to solve this problem, and if you are doubt, you can ask me.
सर लोड कलेक्टर फोर्स लोड कलेक्टर सर कसा क्रिएट केला सर?
Force load collector I will create and I will delete again. Okay, now you see here you have load collector option. Okay, same to the SPC load collector option. Click on this, you enter here force and click on create button. Okay, or here you have to enter the name.
Okay sir.
Okay, it is same to the SPC. Return. Next, now after that you save it. Now I will save it, and you should save as a model, not as a session. Okay, save as a model. Now I will make one folder on desktop, and before saving you have to make one folder. Okay, because it is going to create the number of files. I will create x1. Okay, experiment number 1, and I will give the name for the file. It is circular rod. Okay, and that file is hypermesh binary file, and its extension is HM. Okay, that is hypermesh model. I will click on save. Now it is saved. Now here now you have to solve it. Now in analysis page, for solving, you click on the solver OptiStruct. Here on this row, on this column, last option is OptiStruct. Here you will get the that file path, that is C user desktop experiment number 1 circular rod. Okay, not necessary to click on save as. Now one thing you have to do here export option, you modify it to the all, and run option you select it to the analysis, not for optimization. Okay, and memory options you keep default. As per the requirement of problem, it will take the memory. And after doing this, click on OptiStruct. It is going to solve. Okay, now this one window will be displayed. Now here you will see the message. Okay, here you will get the analysis is completed, OptiStruct job is completed. Okay, do you agree with this? After that, you want to check the results. For checking the results, you click on this results option. Okay, results option, or when we click on results option, you will get hyperview window. Okay, this message you will not get, because this warning message I am getting because there is no graphics card in my laptop. Okay, I will close this. Now this will come here. Okay, now I will make it in XY plane. Okay, now it is just like a line. If you want to check 3D representation of it, go to preferences. Sorry, references, options, in options, visualization, okay, and for rod there is no visualization. I will change it to the cylindrical, okay, and I will click on OK. Now it is in 3D mode. You can see here. Over. Now next one, I want to check the displacement and stress. For checking the displacement and stress, you click on this icon. This is contour icon, okay. Now when we select the contour icon, here you will get the displacement. You can change it to the stress from here only. Now first I want to check the displacement, and just click on apply. Now you see here you will get the displacement variation, and your maximum displacement is 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 1, that means 0.12, okay. 0.12. Now here I will through this I will make static min max results, okay. Now here you can get here 0.12 at node number 2 and 0.0 at node number 1, okay. 0 at node number 1. This is a displacement. It is as per our problem. Now I will go to the stress. Now in place of displacement, you select the elemental stresses and select the C rod axial stress, and you select this averaging method as a simple and click on apply. Now this is a stress. You can see here 50, 5.09 into 10 raised to 1, that is 50, okay. And it is a constant stress because you have uniform cross section. Am I right? It correct? Have you got this problem? You see here displacement is 0.12 and stress is 50 into 10 raised to 15.95 Newton per millimeter square. Have you got this problem? I will stop the recording.